Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why so many people care about velocity banking and so few people care about real estate investing, right? And to be honest, for me at least, they're just kind of like they're all in the same bucket, right? If you don't know anything about me, I learned velocity banking from the same company that taught me real estate investing education. If you ever like talk to me one on one, I actually just share that education with whoever wants to join this group, right? It's like the exact same education, not gonna lie. And I have colleagues in this space, right? Very smart colleagues who are master marketers. They're really great salesmen. And one of the things that I've learned from other people, and I've always thought this to myself too, is that the way that you're able to, let's say, get people interested in real estate investing is through velocity banking. That's the hook, right? Like you cannot just say, "Hey, want to learn real estate investing? Do you want to be a real estate investor?" Because very few people will be interested. It's because of their social conditioning. It's like about it's this is similar to like an article I read a long time ago that if you're an honest car salesman and you give people the lowest rock bottom prices and you don't let them haggle, they think they're not interested in buying your car, right? I know it sounds weird, but it's kind of the same thing, right? So if you tell people like, hey, you know, you could learn about real estate investing with us, they're not going to be that interested compared to, hey, let's just talk about velocity banking all day and then kind of use that as like a hook so that, if they become invested in you, just like some people are invested in this, then they'll want to learn about real estate investing, right? And the reason I know, at least from my own perspective, that everybody cares about velocity banking is because when I look at the channel behind the scenes studio content and look at most popular videos, so I sort by views. So the most popular video we have here is about 21,000 views. It's all velocity banking. I do a sort on views. Velocity banking, velocity banking, velocity banking, velocity banking. I'm pretty sure I've made some videos about real estate investing, but this channel blew up because of velocity banking, right? So look at all this velocity banking, velocity banking, velocity banking. I'm pretty sure I made some videos about real estate investing and I probably won't be able to find one, right? But it's all velocity banking. People love this stuff. I love this stuff too. But I also am interested in the real estate investing because that's how you create wealth. Now, let me just kind of give you some of my own perspectives. I actually did not want to learn. I wasn't really that interested in velocity banking. I'll tell you why. When it was first, let's say, advertised and marketed to me, or when I first heard of the concept, people always talked about how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. Now, at that time, I was making only 20,000 a year, and it was outside of my vision of reality to think like I can even buy a home, right? And that's why, like, um, I had no interest in velocity banking. I mean, I took it anyways because it's all part of the same educational content that I share and distribute. How to pay off your home. And then once I learned it, I was like, all right, that's cool. And then I shared it with other people that I know in real life. And then I heard crickets, and then I just lost interest. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you ever heard the saying, if people don't pay, they don't pay attention, right? I don't know if you ever heard that, but because I paid 2 grand to learn that, and along with other real estate education topics, I was invested, especially since I was like only making 20 grand a year. So I put my heart and soul in learning to like a lot of the topics, and when I tried to share with other people, I could just like kind of see the look on their faces where they just didn't seem interested, right? And this was 2017. So now fast forward to 2023, why is there such a explosion of interest in velocity banking? Is because the average person is broke. The average person has debt. The average person doesn't even think it's possible to buy a home. Hence, they want to learn velocity banking. And what's funny is that, like, I think for a lot of people, their encountering the material through another channel rather than just a standard like pay off your home in 5 to 7 years, because everybody has debt, right? Everybody has debt, and we want to pay it off quickly because the debt is essentially drained into our cash flow, right? And we want to pay off our debt quickly while maintaining control of our money. And that's really the most important part. And I think that's why people get so excited about velocity banking. So even though I've known about it since 2017, I realized there's a whole section of people out there that I didn't talk to, right? The problem is I only try to talk to, quote, my warm market friends and family. And I realized that's not the way to evangelize or market any sort of ideas. You got to really talk to strangers and get rejected over and over again. But look at this, like everybody is so interested in velocity banking. And the thing is that most people, right? Most people will not consider real estate investing because they think that's for like super rich people, right? They don't understand that it's possible to buy a home with little no money down. They don't know it's possible to buy a home at a discount. Like I always show pictures, like $100,000 discount. And here's the thing: I'm a lazy guy, right? And so I've seen people do like 170 transactions in like 5 years. I've only done one just because like I know I have to do more marketing activity, like send letters. It's like, oh, do I really want to do that? And that's why I need to buy more homes. You either need to buy more homes or maybe do lease some homes so that I can make money through some arbitrage. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but you can learn that all with us. But what I'm saying is that most people do not want to learn real estate investing because they think it's out of their reality, right? I don't know if you ever heard the statistics, but one of my mentors, and he's not a direct mentor of mine, but he's like a teacher, a group teacher that whose classes I attend. He always says stuff like 90% of the population cannot get a mortgage, right? 90% of the population cannot get a mortgage. So think about like if home ownership is the American dream, you've excluded 90% of the population from that dream. Okay. Now, for that 10% who can get a mortgage, I don't know if you've ever seen the latest statistic. 93% of home buyers who bought in 2023 are unhappy with regret their purchase. That's the actual word, regret, if you look it up on Google. In this country. And so I think what's happened over the years is that, let's say you go to the 1950s, home ownership was just this easily attainable thing, right? Even until the 1990s, like even in California, maybe you get a nice, 3 bed, 2 bath home for about $200,000, $300,000. You know what's gross? In 2023, I'm right now in California, right? Visiting family. There's a house 2 streets away from the house I'm in right now. That house sold for like $1 million. That's actually pending. $1 million, 3 bed, 2 bath, and I think it's like 1,800 square feet. And when you see that, of course, it's going to be heartbreaking, and you don't think you're ever going to buy a home, especially if you're in Southern California. And that's kind of happening. I mean, to the other parts of the country, not to that extreme, but it's happening, right? And so when so much of the um, population is excluded just from buying their own personal home, of course they're not going to care about real estate investing, right? How can if you can't buy your own personal residence, how are you going to buy a rental property, right? That makes no sense. If there's so much anti-landlord sentiment because on in the political sphere or maybe on the internet, um, because people feel like their half of their paycheck is just going to the rent and the landlord's not doing anything. The landlord's not a good person because that person's not educated. Of course, they're going to be disillusioned and not going to want to learn real estate investing. But everybody has debt. I mean, when most people of this generation, and especially this generation and the previous generation, were all fed lies in childhood that going to college, no matter what the cost, was worth it, and then they have all this debt. It's not their fault. At least, it kind of is, because at least for our generation, we never had the anti-college, marketing propaganda out there, because there's a lot of anti-college like sentiment out there nowadays, even though people still go. But back then, it was like, you know, you never questioned it, right? It was like an unfettered belief that you had to go to college. And then once we all found out it was a ripoff, then you know, we had all the student debt, and it felt kind of hopeless. And because we weren't taught financial discipline, same thing as like we weren't taught how to cook a meal. Like we weren't taught how to cook a meal, right? It's the same thing. We weren't taught financial discipline. Um, what it's everybody is struggling, right? And that's why so many people are watching the velocity banking videos. Now, here's the thing, right? If you're starting out in life and you're like age 18 to 20 something, I don't think you're going to appreciate velocity banking as much as people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And one of the reasons I say that is because, I keep track of the audience metrics, right? All right, so let me just do this. And I'm going to go to advanced mode, and it should tell me the viewer age, right? And let's do this for the entirety of the channel, right? You can see that there's very little interest in the people who are adults but not in the working world yet, assuming they're in college, right? And then we have people here. This is kind of like your young adults. They're kind of interested because they're getting out to the world. And then this explosion from mid-age to almost retirement regarding velocity banking, because these people know they've been screwed by the system and they weren't taught basic skills in life. And I don't know what percentage of these people are homeowners or not, but regardless, most people are excluded from home ownership, right? But everybody has debt. Everybody has debt, right? So this is just some analysis I just want to share with you all. Again, if you're interested in not only learning about velocity banking, but also learning about real estate investing with us, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Here's the thing. A lot of people just say, sometimes they just say, I want to learn about velocity banking. I've made a ton of videos about velocity banking, right? Made a ton of them. You can learn all the free material you want. Just copy the spreadsheet, copy the formulas, and you should be able to kind of predict your payoff. But I want people who want to learn a little bit more. That's why we charge people to learn with us, because if you don't pay, you don't pay attention, right? And some of the material, and again, this isn't all of them. Some of the material that we study is actually shared in real estate investing in this channel, and those videos get crickets, right? And that's what I mean. I only want people who pay because they pay attention. And once you start to make money, let's say once you become a landlord, think about this. If you give a tenant a free rent, are they going to appreciate what you have to offer as a landlord? No, because people who don't pay attention, right? So it's something I want you to heavily understand about yourself as both the buyer and seller. Okay, so let me say this one more time. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. And almost happy New Year! It's almost the end of 2023, right? And I'm going to keep cranking out videos, see if we can get to 1,500. And if we can, cool. If not, no worries. All right. Have a great day, everybody.